The crystalline vessel approached Earth with no weapons powered, no shields raised, broadcasting messages of peace on every frequency known to humanity. Admiral Jackson Kane watched from the command center deep within Luna Base, his scarred hands clasped behind his back as he studied the graceful alien ship gliding past Earth's defensive satellites without triggering a single alarm. "They're not even trying to hide," muttered Colonel Brooks, Kane's aide-de-camp. "Completely vulnerable. We could vaporize them before they knew what hit them." Kane's weathered face remained impassive. At 60, he'd spent 4 decades climbing the ranks of Earth's military, fighting pirates, rebels, and resource wars. Every instinct screamed that peaceful approaches were elaborate traps. "What's their message say?" "Same thing for the past 6 hours, sir. They want to extend the hand of friendship to humanity and invite us to join something called the Galactic Council of Civilized Worlds." Brooks's tone dripped skepticism. "They're offering technology exchanges, trade agreements, mutual defense pacts, the works." The alien ambassador materialized in their conference room an hour later, having accepted Earth's invitation with what seemed like genuine enthusiasm. Lyrian Vex stood 7 feet tall, with iridescent blue skin and 4 graceful arms, their large, golden eyes radiating warmth and intelligence. "Admiral Kane," Vex spoke in perfect English, their voice melodious and sincere. "It is an honor to finally make contact with Earth's children. We have watched your species' remarkable progress with great admiration." Kane remained standing, arms crossed. "Watched us, have you? For how long?" "3 of your centuries," Vex replied without hesitation. "We follow a strict, non-interference policy until species achieve interstellar capability on their own. Your first colony ships were impressive, crude by galactic standards but showing remarkable ingenuity." Secretary of State Martinez leaned forward eagerly. "Ambassador Vex, we're very interested in these trade opportunities you mentioned. What exactly is the Galactic Council offering?" Vex's 4 hands moved in what was clearly a gesture of enthusiasm. "Everything. Medical technology that could extend human lifespans by centuries. Manufacturing techniques that could end scarcity forever. Cultural exchanges with 47 different species. And most importantly, friendship. The galaxy can now be dangerous for species traveling alone." Kane's eyes narrowed. "And what do you want in return?" "Simply your participation," Vex replied, golden eyes shining. "The Council believes diversity strengthens all members. Your species' unique perspectives would be invaluable. We ask for nothing beyond peaceful cooperation." The room fell silent. Martinez and the diplomatic team exchanged excited glances. This was beyond their wildest hopes. But Kane saw something else entirely. In his experience, no one offered something for nothing. The more generous the offer, the bigger the trap. "We'll need time to consider your proposal," Kane said carefully. "Of course," Vex practically beamed. "Take all the time you need. The Council has designated a beautiful nebula system for our formal meeting, neutral space where all species gather for important ceremonies. When you're ready, we'll hold a grand celebration to welcome humanity into the galactic community." After Vex departed, leaving behind star charts and cultural gifts, Kane turned to his staff. "They want us to come to them, on their terms, in their space, with their celebration waiting." "Sir," Martinez protested, "they seem genuinely peaceful." "No, one offers that much for free," Kane cut him off. "But they've made one mistake. They think we're naive enough to show up with just diplomats and handshakes." His smile was cold as winter steel. "We'll attend their little celebration, but we're bringing every warship in the fleet. Let's see how peaceful they really are when they're staring down the barrels of humanity's finest." In the depths of space, Lyrian Vex's ship began its journey home, carrying news of contact with a species that might prove humanity's greatest triumph, or its greatest tragedy. General Petra Hawk stood before the massive holographic display showing Earth's greatest military buildup in human history. 237 warships hung in formation around Luna, their hulls gleaming under the artificial lights of the orbital shipyards. Each vessel bristled with humanity's most advanced weaponry, yet officially, they were merely an honor escort, for the upcoming diplomatic mission. Status report, Hawk commanded, her voice echoing through the war room buried 3 kilometers beneath Earth's surface. Fleet composition is complete, General, reported Commander Walsh, his fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. 12 dreadnoughts, 48 cruisers, 96 destroyers, and 81 support vessels. Every ship equipped with the new gravitational disruptors Dr. Cray developed. Hawk nodded approvingly. At 45, she'd earned her rank through brilliant tactical innovations and an unwavering belief that strength was the only language the universe understood. Her cybernetic left eye, a souvenir from the Europa campaign, glowed softly as it processed tactical data streaming from the fleet. "What about our diplomatic gifts?" she asked with barely concealed sarcasm. Dr. Vincent Cray materialized via hologram from his research station on Titan, his wild gray hair and coffee-stained lab coat making him look more like a mad scientist than humanity's premier weapons designer. "The gravitational weapons are ready for field testing, General. One pulse can crack a moon in half. Should make quite an impression during the cultural exchange." Meanwhile, the Galactic Council's messages continued arriving daily, each one more enthusiastic than the last. Ambassador Vex had sent detailed star charts marking safe passage routes, cultural primers explaining council customs, and even musical compositions from 17 different species as welcoming gifts. The most recent transmission included footage of council worlds preparing massive celebrations to honor humanity's arrival. "They're treating this like some kind of festival," muttered Admiral Kane as he reviewed the latest message. Golden-skinned beings danced in crystalline cities while aquatic species created elaborate underwater light displays. "Look at them, completely defenseless. No military preparations whatsoever." "Maybe because they actually want peace," suggested Ambassador Chen, Earth's lead diplomat, though her voice lacked conviction. The weeks of military preparation had infected even the civilian leadership with paranoia. Kane's laugh was harsh. "Peace? There are 47 different species, Chen. You think they built a galactic civilization through peace? They're either setting the perfect trap, or they're so decadent they've forgotten how to fight. Either way, they'll respect strength." The true scope of Earth's deception became clear when the diplomatic convoy began its journey. What should have been a small delegation of ambassadors and cultural attachés had become the largest military armada in human history. The lead vessel, designated the diplomatic ship Harmony, was actually a refitted battlecruiser packed with enough firepower to level a city. Dr. Cray ran final tests on his gravitational weapons while the fleet traveled through hyperspace. "The beauty of these devices," he explained to General Hawk during one of their encrypted communications, "is that they look like sensor arrays. The Council will think we're just taking readings until we demonstrate what they can really do." 3 days into the journey, the Council sent another message, this time directly to Admiral Kane. Ambassador Vex appeared on screen, their arms spread wide in what human xenobiologists had identified as a gesture of ultimate trust and openness. "Admiral Kane, we are so excited for your arrival. The Council has prepared gifts of medical technology that could eliminate most human diseases, manufacturing techniques that could end scarcity on Earth, and star maps showing safe routes to hundreds of uninhabited worlds perfect for peaceful colonization. We ask for nothing in return except friendship and the joy of learning about your remarkable species." Kane studied the aliens' genuine enthusiasm with cold calculation. "They're practically begging us to take advantage of them," he told Hawk after the transmission ended. "Either they're the most elaborate manipulators in galactic history, or they're genuinely offering us everything we want for free." "And you believe the second option is impossible," Hawk replied. "In my experience, anyone offering something for nothing is planning to take everything you have. Better to negotiate from strength than discover their real agenda when it's too late." General Hawk gazed out at the fleet surrounding them. Humanity's finest warriors preparing for what the Council believed would be a celebration of friendship. Every ship was armed, every crew was ready for combat, every weapon was primed for demonstration rather than negotiation. The irony wasn't lost on her. The Council had offered humanity partnership among the stars, and Earth had responded by bringing enough firepower to conquer them instead. But in the cold mathematics of survival, Hawk believed Kane was right. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, and strength was the only currency that mattered. As the fleet approached Council space, Earth's greatest military force prepared to turn a peace summit into a demonstration of power that would echo ache. Captain Rex Thorne watched in stunned disbelief as the Galactic Council's military response to humanity's massive fleet approached. 3 vessels, not warships, but graceful ceremonial barges decorated with streaming banners and pulsing with festive lights, glided toward Earth's armada of 237 battle-ready warships. "Sir," Lieutenant Morrison reported from the tactical station, his voice tight with confusion, "the lead vessel is broadcasting music and what appears to be poetry in 17 different languages." Thorne's weathered face creased into a frown. 40 years of naval combat had taught him to recognize every type of military formation, every tactical maneuver, every deception. But this looked like a parade approaching a funeral. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing Ambassador Vex standing in what appeared to be a crystal cathedral filled with beings from dozens of different species. They were all singing, a haunting, beautiful harmony that seemed to resonate through space itself. "Captain Thorne, Admiral Kane, welcome to the Serenity Nebula." Vex's 4 arms spread wide in joy. "We have gathered representatives from all 47 Council worlds to celebrate this historic moment, humanity's first steps into the galactic community." Behind Vex, the diverse assembly of aliens held what appeared to be gifts: crystalline data cores, artistic sculptures, living plants that glowed with inner light. One aquatic being held up a small device that projected holographic star charts, while a tall ethereal creature presented what looked like a musical instrument crafted from pure energy. Thorne activated his private channel to Admiral Kane aboard the flagship Harmony. "Sir, I don't think they know we're here for negotiations. They think this is actually a celebration." Kane's voice crackled with barely contained aggression. "Then they're about to learn the difference between diplomacy and weakness. Proceed with Phase 1. The Earth fleet moved into attack formation, a by-doing perfect sphere surrounding the Council's ceremonial vessels. What the aliens had interpreted as an impressive honor guard suddenly revealed itself as a tactical encirclement. The festive music faltered as Council sensors registered the targeting systems locking onto their defenseless ships. "Ambassador Vex," Kane's voice boomed across all frequencies. "Before we begin any negotiations, Earth requires certain concessions as a gesture of good faith." Vex's golden eyes widened in confusion. "Concessions? Dear Admiral, we come offering everything freely. What could you possibly need to negotiate?" "Territorial rights to 12 systems in Sector 7, mining privileges for all asteroids, within 50 light-years of this position, and a formal acknowledgement that Earth speaks for humanity in all galactic affairs." The alien assembly behind Vex erupted in bewildered chatter. A massive creature with crystalline skin stepped forward, speaking in harmonics that the universal translators struggled to process. "But we offer these territories freely. We offer mining rights, trade agreements, everything you could want. Why demand what we would gladly give?" Captain Thorne felt his stomach twist as he watched the scene unfold. The Council's confusion was genuine. They truly had no concept of why Earth would threaten them for things they were already offering as gifts. Dr. Cray's voice crackled over the command channel. "Gravitational disruptors are locked onto their lead vessel, Captain. One word from Admiral Kane and we can demonstrate the futility of resistance." But there was no resistance. The Council vessels remained motionless, their weapon systems offline, if they even had weapon systems. Their only response was to broadcast more messages of confused friendship. "Admiral Kane," Vex pleaded, their voice heavy with sorrow rather than fear. "We do not understand. We came to welcome you as brothers and sisters among the stars. We offer everything we have, our knowledge, our friendship, our protection. Why do you threaten us?" Kane's reply was ice cold. "Because in this galaxy you're either the hunter or the prey, and humanity doesn't kneel." A smaller alien vessel detached from the ceremonial fleet, not fleeing, but approaching. Through the viewports, Thorne could see it was filled with younglings from various species, all holding handmade welcome banners with "Hello Earth" written in primitive human script. "Dear God," whispered Lieutenant Morrison. "They brought their children. They actually brought their children to welcome us." The moment crystallized for Captain Thorne with horrible clarity. The Galactic Council hadn't just wanted negotiation. They had wanted to embrace humanity as family. They had prepared a celebration, brought gifts, included their youngest members in the welcome. And Earth had responded with the largest military force in human history, demanding tribute from beings who only wanted to offer friendship. As Admiral Kane's voice continued making demands across the communication channels, and as Dr. Cray prepared to demonstrate humanity's gravitational weapons on peaceful ceremonial vessels, Captain Rex Thorne realized they had crossed a line from which there might be no return. The Council had offered humanity the stars. Instead, Earth had chosen to take them at gunpoint. The age of human diplomacy was over. The age of human conquest had begun. Commander Zaracross stood in the observation deck of the Harmony, watching the Galactic Council's desperate final attempt at peace unfold before her eyes. In the 3 hours since Admiral Kane's ultimatum, the Council had offered humanity everything imaginable: entire star systems, advanced technology that could solve Earth's energy crisis for millennia, even seats on their governing body as equal partners. Each offer was met with more demands. "They're actually begging us," muttered Colonel Hayes, his voice a mixture of disgust and admiration. 47 civilizations, and they're begging. Cross felt sick. As Earth's primary diplomatic liaison, she had spent years studying galactic politics, preparing for first contact, dreaming of the day humanity would join a community of stars, but not like this. Never like this. The main communication screen showed Ambassador Vex, their iridescent blue skin now pale with stress, surrounded by council representatives from across the galaxy. A crystalline being wept tears that looked like liquid diamonds, while an ethereal creature's form flickered with what could only be anguish. "Admiral Kane," Vex pleaded, their 4 hands pressed together in supplication, "we will give you anything. The Healers Guild offers medical technology that could make your species immortal. The Builders offer manufacturing capabilities that could terraform dead worlds. The Explorers offer star maps to uninhabited galaxies beyond our borders. Please, we only ask that you honor the peace we came to celebrate." Kane's response came swift and brutal. "Peace is earned through strength, Ambassador. Your weakness is your problem. Earth requires tribute from all Council worlds, 20% of your resources annually, and formal acknowledgement of human supremacy in all territorial disputes." Cross watched the alien assembly recoil as if struck. These weren't demands of an equal partner. They were the terms of a conqueror. A small, winged creature collapsed, entirely its translator rendering its words as simply, "We came with such hope." "Sir," Cross found herself speaking before she could stop herself, "the Council is offering us partnership, full membership, everything we could want through cooperation." "Commander Cross," Kane's voice cut through the bridge like a blade, "your job is to facilitate our demands, not question them. These aliens may have fooled you with their peace offerings, but they've shown their true nature. The moment we demonstrated strength, they crumbled. That tells us everything we need to know about their character." But Cross could see the truth, that Kane refused to acknowledge. The Council hadn't crumbled from weakness, they had yielded from compassion. They were offering everything because they genuinely wanted peace, not because they feared war. The distinction was everything, and it was lost on humanity's leadership. Dr. Cray's voice echoed over the communication system. "Gravitational disruptors are charged and ready, Admiral. One demonstration should eliminate any lingering resistance." "Belay that order," came an unexpected voice. Captain Thorne's image appeared on screen from his command bridge. "Admiral, request permission to speak privately." Kane's face darkened, but he nodded curtly. The channel switched to secure mode. "Admiral, I've been monitoring Council communications," Thorne said quietly. They're not just offering us resources, they're offering to protect us. There are, apparently hostile forces in this galaxy that prey on isolated species. The Council has been our shield for 3 centuries without us even knowing it. Your point, Captain? My point is that we're destroying genuine allies and making ourselves enemies. The Council could have conquered us centuries ago when we were weak. Instead, they protected us and waited for us to be ready for friendship. Kane's expression hardened further. They protected us because they needed us weak. Now they've miscalculated, and we have the upper hand. Cross watched in horror as Kane terminated the private channel and addressed the Council fleet again. You have 1 hour to begin resource transfers to human vessels. Any delay will be considered an act of war. The response came not from Ambassador Vex, but from a new voice, ancient, tired, and infinitely sad. An entity that appeared to be made of pure starlight materialized on screen. I am the first speaker, the being said, its voice carrying the weight of eons. I have guided the Council for 30,000 years, through wars and peace, through the rise and fall of countless civilizations. Never have I seen such tragedy as this moment. The first speaker's form pulsed with gentle light. Humanity, children of the blue world, we have watched you with such pride. Your art, your music, your fierce love of freedom. We saw in you the potential to heal wounds that have scarred the galaxy for millennia. We came not as conquerors or judges, but as teachers hoping to learn from you in return. Kane interrupted harshly. Spare us the philosophy. Submit or face the consequences. The first speaker's light dimmed. Very well. The Council yields to force as we always have. But know this. In choosing power over partnership, you have not gained an empire. You have lost a family you never knew you had. As the Council ships began broadcasting surrender codes and preparing to transfer resources to human vessels, Commander Zara Cross realized she was witnessing the death of humanity's soul. They had been offered the stars as a gift, and had chosen to steal them instead. The galaxy would remember this day, not as humanity's first contact, but as the moment a species chose conquest over compassion, power over peace. And in the depths of her heart, Cross knew that some victories were indistinguishable from defeat. 6 months after the Serenity Nebula incident, as historians would later call it, Supreme Commander Jackson Kane stood on the observation deck of his flagship, Dominion, gazing out at the conquered capital of the former Galactic Council. The crystalline spires that had once housed 47 different species in harmony now flew the crimson banner of the human empire. The transformation had been swift and absolute. The Council's peaceful nature, which Kane had interpreted as weakness, had proven to be exactly that when faced with humanity's relentless expansion. World after world had surrendered without firing a shot, their populations too accustomed to diplomacy to mount effective resistance. Status report. Kane commanded as General Hawk approached, her cybernetic eye glowing with satisfaction. Tribute. Collections are ahead of schedule across all sectors, Hawk reported. The mining operations on the crystal worlds alone have tripled Earth's resource base. The former Council species are adapting to their new reality. Kane nodded approvingly. Through the viewport, he could see the adaptation firsthand. Ambassador Vex, once proud representative of interstellar friendship, now worked in the administrative districts processing human requisition orders. The ethereal beings who had welcomed humanity with song now served as translators for human military commands. The aquatic species who had created beautiful underwater light shows now maintained the conquered station's life support systems. Any resistance movements? Kane asked. Minor, Hawk replied dismissively. Nothing our peacekeeping forces can't handle. Most of them still seem to believe this is all some terrible misunderstanding that can be resolved through talking. Her voice dripped contempt. The irony wasn't lost on Kane. The very trait that had made the Council vulnerable, their instinctive preference for negotiation over violence, continued to cripple their resistance efforts. They held meetings to discuss rebellion rather than actually rebelling. A soft chime indicated an incoming transmission. Commander Cross materialized via hologram, her face drawn and tired. She had refused promotion to admiral, claiming she needed time to process the transition. Kane suspected she'd never fully adjusted to humanity's new role as galactic overlords. "Supreme Commander," Cross said formally, "we've received another delegation request. The Andromedan Coalition wants to establish diplomatic relations." Kane's interest sharpened. The Andromedans were rumored to be a powerful confederation from the neighboring galaxy, exactly the kind of challenge that kept his military sharp. "What are they offering?" "The same thing the Council offered us," Cross replied quietly. "Friendship, trade, cultural exchange. They've heard about humanity's rapid expansion and want to establish peaceful relations before any misunderstandings occur." Kane studied the datapad Cross transmitted. The Andromedans were sending a small diplomatic vessel with their most honored ambassadors, along with gifts representing their finest achievements in art, science, and philosophy. Their message emphasized their desire for mutual understanding and lasting peace between our peoples. "Their ship will arrive at the edge of our territory in 72 hours, Cross continued. "They're requesting safe passage to Earth for formal negotiations." Kane was quiet for a long moment, watching the former Council world spin below him like conquered jewels. In the distance, construction crews, both human and alien, worked on expanding the orbital shipyards that now produced warships instead of exploration vessels. "Supreme Commander?" Cross prompted. "How should we respond to the Andromedans?" Kane's smile was cold as the void between stars. "Assemble the Third Fleet. 200 ships should be sufficient for a proper, diplomatic escort." Cross's face went pale. "Sir, they're coming in peace, just like the Council did. They're offering everything we could want through cooperation." "Commander Cross," Kane interrupted, his voice carrying the absolute authority of a man who ruled half the galaxy. "You seem to have forgotten the lesson of the Serenity Nebula. Peace is what the weak offer when they lack the strength to take what they want." He turned back to the viewport, watching human patrol ships enforce order among the former Council worlds. "The Andromedans will learn what the Council learned. In this galaxy there are only two choices, rule or be ruled. And humanity has made its choice." General Hawk grinned with predatory satisfaction. "I'll begin preparations immediately, Supreme Commander. The Andromedans want negotiation?" Kane's reflection in the viewport showed a man transformed from protector to conqueror, from defender to destroyer of the very peace he had once sworn to preserve. "No, General. They think they want negotiation. What they're going to get is a demonstration of why the galaxy now belongs to Earth." As Cross's transmission ended with her horrified expression, Kane contemplated the beautiful irony of his position. The Galactic Council had offered humanity partnership among the stars, protection from galactic threats, and friendship beyond imagination. In response, humanity had taken everything by force and called it strength. Now another peaceful confederation, approached with open hands and hopeful hearts, offering the same gifts the Council had tried to give. And humanity would respond the same way, with overwhelming power, impossible demands, and the cold logic of conquest. The galaxy had wanted to welcome Earth's children as family. Instead, they had created monsters who wore the faces of the very species they had tried to embrace. In the depths of space, the Andromedan's small diplomatic vessel continued its journey toward human territory, carrying ambassadors who still believed in the possibility of peace between worlds. They had no way of knowing they were flying toward an empire built on the graves of their own ideals, an empire that had learned to mistake brutality for strength, conquest for victory, and the fear of former friends for the respect of equals. The cycle was beginning anew, and Supreme Commander Kane couldn't have been more pleased.